All right, I know some people are freaking out because Tesla Model 3 sales have tanked by more than 4 times in January in the United States. But that's actually okay. Let me tell you why. There's only one concern that I already had from a couple months ago, but we'll digest that as well. All of this is coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. It's there, it's free, and that way you won't miss anything moving forward. And of course, a quick shout out to one of my newest Patreons, Alfred Freeman. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. Thank you for supporting this independent show. And of course, all of my Patreons have a chance to watch me live. All right, so let's talk about this. I love this picture, by the way. Just two red Model 3s as they arrive in Europe. And that's what's been happening, right? So, Tesla made a really hard push in the United States because of the, cutting the tax credit in half. And then they started making all these cars for Europe, and now they're arriving there for February sales, and also in China as well. And yes, well, there are some, concerning numbers because it doesn't seem like they might be able to sell as many of the high-priced there as they've sold in the United States, but we'll see. On earnings call, it looks like Elon wasn't really concerned about that. I am a little concerned about it, but let's talk about the sales now. The sales in January, and this is, by the way, estimated. All the numbers I'm going to be talking about, they're going to be all US numbers, and they're all are numbers from InsideEVs.com, where they do it every month, and I always make a video based on that. They do a great job, so check it out at InsideEVs.com for the source of this. But the numbers they look brutal. So these are the numbers. 6,500 Model 3s were sold in January. As you can see, compared to over 25,000 in December, it's less than a quarter. And it sounds like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is absolutely horrible. What are they going to do? Now, one, this was expected. Two, all of the cars they're making in January obviously were shipped to China and Europe, and you have to have that gap, right? Because it does take a few weeks for the cars to get shipped, to go through customs, to make it to their showrooms. The process of selling obviously probably will need some adjusting. So all of that is understandable, and if you look at the numbers for the Model S and Model X, as you can see, they're just as bad. And those cars, yes, the tax credit was cut, and obviously that might be affecting them. But, on top of that, the prices of the entry-level Model S and Model X have gone up by 10, 15,000 in the last 2 years, really. I'm talking about the base price. And so it doesn't look like it's going to deter, scare people off. I think it will, especially once the competition comes in, like e-tron and other ones. But we'll see what Tesla's going to do about that. For now, I'm saying in comparison to Model S and Model X, the drop off, granted that also they had a huge chunk of them going to Europe and China, is actually pretty much in line. Now, if the sales were unproportionately small, then there would be a problem. By the way, I just want to mention that the sales in January are historically extremely bad for all electric cars, not just for Tesla. Let me show how this happened last year. Before I forget, especially, let me just tell you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla, including the Model 3. There are tons of them. I have a few on my Model S. There is a discount code in the description of this video. Go ahead and grab it. That way you'll save yourself a few bucks. So enjoy that. All right. So here are the numbers for December, January of this year, and this is what they were, and I just erased Model 3 numbers because they really were just ramping up. For last year, as you can see, the drop-off was even worse. It was not by 4 times, it was by 5 times if you look at Model S. So if you want to even look at history, January is just like a devastating month for sales. Nevertheless, Tesla is confident. Elon Musk seemed to be confident on a conference call, at least that we were listening to a couple of days ago, that they will still turn a profit. Okay, but here's a concern, right? The numbers seem to be in for the Model 3 are proportionate for as for Model S, Model X, proportionate for the year before. So all of that looks good, but there's still a chunk of cars that had to, instead of just going straight to their customers or maybe being delivered maybe a few states away now have to be shipped overseas, and they're not flying on planes. They're taking a very slow boats there, and I'm simplifying things, but nevertheless. Then there's customs, then there's distribution. Distribution is different, in different countries in Europe and in China and so forth. And don't forget, in China, these cars start at like $85,000. I shouldn't say start. The price of the ones that are selling at $85,000, which is way more than they are in the United States because of tariffs. All right. So, but I know they will be selling them real as they're as fast as they're able to deliver them. But that's the thing. They I don't think they can catch up by the end of the quarter. They have 2 months to get all of these cars there and then deliver them. There will always be a very big chunk, unlike what they had in the US, on the containers and on the ships, and it's probably the backlog is still going to be there. So I have a feeling that the profit margin that they turn in or at least let's say profits just in dollars that they've turned in Q4, I think just that delay is enough to wipe out the profit. And I'm going to continue with my guess that in Q1 of this year, they will, post a moderate loss. I know it's going to look bad in terms of, because, there's only like $400 million, which is not really that much on the grand scheme of things when you make $7 or $8 billion. That's the difference between yay profit and crap, there's a loss. And, we don't know how market is going to freak out about that, but I think they might. I'm just saying that if there's a loss, I think it's going to be a very reasonable loss, very much expected loss. And now all eyes, and by the way, don't forget, the cars that are making right now, they're once again really high price Model 3. So the profit margin on that should go back up to much higher than 25, maybe 30%. So that will help them with profits. I forgot to mention that that's actually pretty important point if you ask me. So that can help them. I just don't think it will help them enough to make up for all of these cars that were made and yet have a few weeks of transport to be delivered. And then I think in Q2 we'll understand better how well they're selling those high-priced models in Europe. We'll understand better what's going on here in the United States once we're back to February and March and see how people are actually responding to the tax credit cut. And then we'll be able to probably tell if Q2 will really be profitable. But this is just my prediction. Obviously, Elon Musk does not agree with me. We'll just the time will tell. Let me know in the comment section. Do you think that Tesla is going to turn a profit? Or do you think it's going to be lost in Q1? I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, see you next time. And remember to stay charged.